All right. Shalom. We the Hebrew Israelites, we come out week in, week out, prophesy the downfall and the death and destruction of this wicked kingdom known as the daughter of Babylon, the whore of Babylon, aka America. All right. And we come out to be able to tell our people and to warn the other nations, okay, that there's destruction happening, and that the only way that you can actually be saved, or the only people that's promised salvation, are these people on the sign right here. Okay, we're going to go through the signs. This is Judah, the so-called Negroes; Benjamin, the West Indians; Levi, the Haitians; Simeon, Dominicans; Zebulon, Guatemala to Panama; Ephraim, the Puerto Ricans; Manasseh, the Cubans; Gad, North American Indians; Reuben, the Seminole Indians; Naphtali, Argentina and Chile; and Asher, Colombia to Uruguay; and Issachar, the so-called Mexicans. All right? That is the list of the people that is promised salvation in the scriptures, all right, in the Bible. We are not the things that society has used to describe us. That's not what we are. We're not black, colored, Hispanic, Latino, all right? We're actual Hebrew Israelites according to biblical prophecy. So we're coming out to tell the downfall of this wicked, wicked kingdom, all right? And the so-called white man, all right, which is ruling the world today. And really it's the higher ups. It's really the people that run the mega conglomerates, okay? The Walmarts and Targets and the big box stores, the Washington Post and the CNNs and the Fox Newses, all right? The Gettys, the Bilderbergs, the Rockefeller, DuPont, okay, Rothschild. These are some of the families, okay, that are ruling and reigning in the world today, and that biblically in prophecy in the last days or the latter days that would actually be ruling. So that's how we know, according to the prophecy, who we are. Because right when this man goes down, okay, which is the so-called white man who's ruling the earth, responsible for arsenic being in our foods, our chicken. I think they said this 2.5 to 5.5 micrograms of arsenic in a 2-ounce chicken breast. Most people eat, 6 to 8 ounce when they go out to eat. All right? So the same man that charges you money out of your paycheck but doesn't do any of the things that they said with that money that they promised, that's bought by big lobbyists that push tobacco and machine guns on our children, okay? The same man that filters the news and doesn't tell of his wrongs, all right? His things that he's done in this world, but he has no recollection of when it comes to him telling the story. So the story that he tells is a story of minorities, fear. It puts fear in the minds and the heart of a lot of people, all right? So with that in mind, we go to the scriptures and we know exactly where we're at. And it describes the people that don't listen, our people, the Jews of the Bible. Let's go to Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8. And it says, "And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Most High, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die. The third shall be left." All right? hey, I'm also, as people pass, I'm gonna ask a lot of people if they got time for the Bible. You know, that's one thing that I do just to see where they at, see if they honest, see if they don't want no parts, if you know, they got a reprobate mind, you know, completely. So I'm gonna read it again. And it shall come to pass that in the land, saith the Most High, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. Alright, so that basically is describing our people. Alright? The fact that we've identified with the so-called Latino, Cherokee, Choctaw, Osage, Mexican, Puerto Rican, any of the words that were used for so-called indigenous people that were here before anybody else that had their land stolen from them, that 2/3 of those people will get cut off and die. All right, only the elect of Israel is actually gonna make it on those ships. All right, and the ships that we're speaking of, what we see is the so-called UFOs. Those aren't UFOs; those are the angels and the vessels that they ride in. Okay, so it's great. All right, and we're at that time that you have a lot of people coming against the word, coming against the men of the Lord. They choose not to go against these other groups. They might leave GOCC alone because, well, they believe that some Esau's, Edomites can make it. All right. They might let ISUPK go through because they believe those guys are militant. All right. But either way, they always come against the men of the Lord that's pushing this real truth. All right. That has the scriptures and the precepts to back up what this says, because this is a spiritual book. All right, this isn't given to everybody. Let's get that in the scriptures. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 29, verse 29. And because promises and covenants are a big deal, and so it's important that you believe in the scriptures. You have to honor prophecy. You have to honor the covenant that was made with Israel. Deuteronomy 29 verse 29 says, the secret things belong unto the Most High our power, but those things which are revealed belong unto us and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law. Now this is Deuteronomy. This is the 5th book in the scriptures, and it was specific under a certain group of people. There was the Israelites. All right? And so how we identify is not those people that are living in Israel today, but the people, the Native Americans, the so-called Hispanic and Negroes that are on this side. Okay? These are the children of the Lord. Salvation isn't for anybody else. All right? So if you're trying to get into the scriptures and figure out how that pertains to you, how you fit in, you might very well find out that it doesn't fit in for you. It isn't for you. I mean, the scriptures just said the secret things belong to his people, that there was a law. You tell me where in the scriptures was there a law, a covenant made with Egypt? When was there a law and covenant made with Syria? All right? Syria is speaking of Syria right now. They're getting bombed and depleted. All right, not bombs over Baghdad, bombs over Syria. All right. Tell me, is there a time when there was a covenant made with Edom, the one that the Lord would love them forever? Explain to me a time when there was the law and a covenant that was made with Elam. Okay, there wasn't. The only people that a law that was established and a covenant and a promise that the Most High God made was with Israel. And we know that who Israel is, okay, because Israel would have, they would go through things that nobody else on the place of the earth would go through. Hey ladies, how you doing? Hey, can I ask you a question? Do you have 2 minutes for the Bible?
I do have the Bible.
You have 2 minutes for the Bible.
I have more than 2 minutes for a Bible.
All right. So, like I said, I'd be asking them, and So anyway, the Most High, He's actually. Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Hey,
How are you?
Hey, pretty good. So I'm gonna wait till this madness goes by. So my point was that, is there anybody else or anywhere else in the scriptures that said no? Everything that the scriptures say is speaking about Israel. All right? And it's not just about Israel. We do speak about Edom. And my problem is that if you claim to be a Christian with all your heart, don't you want to know who is the epicenter of everything towards the end of the end days? Don't you want to know who it is that is going to be the villain, the heel at the end of the day? Don't you want to know if it's a specific? I mean, listen. You have to understand, if you really understand what it is to be a Christian, that the Most High, that He has judgment reserved. And as a Christian, what do you believe? That there's a hell. So you believe that the people that say, God, Jesus, come into my life, or come into my heart, they're going to make it, right? And then some of the people that don't believe that's they'll go to hell, right? So that's what, basically is what a lot of people, that's what they believe in their heart, all right? But that doesn't mean that you familiarize yourself with any of the real meanings and the patterns of this word. It doesn't mean that you've really taken it upon yourself, to really get into what the idea of what the Lord says. Right now, being a so-called Christian means that every once in a while, Christmas, Easter, you go to church, or every other Sunday when, football game's not coming on early, when the Chiefs aren't playing or something, Cowboys, all right? And a lot of times the pastors, they understand it, so they'll let the congregation out early. So, specifically, we know how it's convenient to call yourself a Christian, all right? The truth of the matter is that we're not Christians, all right? In the true sense of the word, we are Christians. We're the first people, all right, to go into it, and that's a very, very good. We'll get into that, but as far as the elders brought out, Elder Apostle Gabar, and then bringing out this week about the Nicene Council around 300, about 3rd century, 4th century, 325 or so on. They came out and they basically decided of how they're going to establish the church. Okay. Now, I had read something before. Okay. I had read a book, and they're like chronicles or writings, the Ante-Nicene Council, and they go as far as speaking about with Clement. Okay. But it's a historical book, whether you choose to believe it. I'm sure there's some things that apply, whatnot, but it's got a lot of players. The Ptolemies, the Ptolemy Soter, the Hyrcanus. Well, I'll just go all into it right now. We might as well, because that's what, if you don't understand what the scriptures are talking about, or even your history, then you won't be able to. You won't be able to tell people about, well, this is why the scriptures are real. Okay? Now, this is another book. This is just something that I read. All right? And there's a scriptures paraphrase that says there's no end to books. Literally, you could read a philosophy book, this, that, Socrates, Plato's, all right? And I could go on and forever. the scriptures, all right, the 1611 Bible is there's no other mate to it, okay? But just for edification, in some of the introductory note in the Ante-Nicene Fathers, okay, Clement of Alexandria, which proves, okay, that this thing, okay, was all the way in Egypt, Alexandria, and I'll get into it, all right? So this is about 153 AD to about 217 AD, 2nd century, and the news of the Messiah had spread all through, from Britain to the Ganges. It had made its mark. So the Ganges is in India. Already by the 2nd century, the news of this gospel and Hamashiach had spread, okay? And so to the Nile, to Alexandria, and there was a so-called Christian learning, okay, around that time. So the true Christians, the early Christians, all right, they were following Serapis Christus, these people, and they would mock them, and they were like, if you followed after this guy, you would be a Christian. So that's why when Yahushua came, okay, and they try to say that we were wild and we were fanatical, because the Serapis Christus, he had a flower pot on his head. So that's a deity that people were like, this is what you worship? This is what you about? And they were like, you guys are nothing but Christians, okay? And it was a big deal. So technically, we were the early Christians. Now, I'm not sure. A lot of these, I'm sure at that time, see, before the Nicene Council, when it actually got established in the 4th century, 300 or so, then that's when collectively they began to piece together what they wanted to piece together. They wanted to have pagan worship mixed in with the scriptures, the holy scriptures, and they wanted to make their deities, their gods, okay, match up and intertwine with the stories of the scriptures, the prophets of the scriptures. All right, the men, all right, of the Most High that went out, that even put their lives out there, just like we're doing right now. When we go out, people laugh, people say, "Oh, I got time for lots of Bibles and jokes." All right, you don't know, you might be getting in that ridiculous, stupid truck the diesel prices are ridiculous on. All right, that you're just adding to the. I hate being behind them trucks too, man. You're literally sucking on a tailpipe if you got your window down or your air conditioner on, man. It's nasty. All right, but they don't care. They don't seem to worry about what happens, what they're contributing to the atmosphere. You know, they're not worrying about what they contribute. It's all for money. It's all for enjoyment. All right, that's why this kingdom has to go down, all right? Because it's all it's modern day Sodom and Gomorrah, all right? I saw a movie the other day where they was describing Sodom and Gomorrah to a couple other people, and they was like, so how is this a bad place? You know? Where can I go? Where's this at again? All right?